The night shift was always the longest for Jake. He clocked in at 9 p.m. and didn't leave until sunrise. The cold, empty hallways, the sound of his own footsteps echoing through silence, the heavy locked doors that sealed away the rooms where the nation's most critical decisions were made. Jake had served 8 years in the Army, surviving grueling deployments in the Middle East. But when he returned home, the world no longer looked the same. Soldiers like him, once hailed as heroes, became mere footnotes in society, acknowledged in speeches but forgotten in reality. There were no real job prospects, no opportunities to put his hard-earned skills to use. He had tried to move up in the security field, but no one was willing to give him a chance. So he stood here, every night, at the imposing gates, watching powerful individuals walk past him, stepping into meetings he would never be part of. Every time he saluted a politician or a wealthy businessman, a thought lingered in his mind. If my life had taken a slightly different turn, could I have been one of them? But then, like every other night, Jake lowered his head, stayed in position, and carried on with his duty, unaware that in just a few hours, his life would take a turn he never saw coming. At midnight, a convoy of sleek black vehicles rolled slowly into the building's courtyard. Headlights swept across the pavement, reflecting off the towering glass windows. Jake didn't need to look twice. He knew exactly who was arriving. The car door swung open. Secret Service agents spread out, forming a protective perimeter. And then Donald Trump stepped out. But this time, he didn't just walk past like everyone else. He stopped. He looked Jake straight in the eye. "How's your night going, officer?" Jake hesitated for a fraction of a second. No one of Trump's stature had ever asked him that. He was invisible to men like this. "All good, sir," Jake answered quickly. But Trump didn't move on. Instead, he studied Jake for a long moment. His gaze was different. Not detached, not distant. It was analytical, like he saw something in Jake that even Jake himself hadn't recognized. "You served in the military, didn't you?" Jake blinked, surprised. How did Trump know? "Yes, sir. 8 years in the Army." Trump nodded. "Figured. You carry yourself like a soldier." He paused and then asked, "What happened after you got out?" Jake hesitated. Most people didn't care enough to ask, but something about the former president's tone made him answer honestly. "Got back, struggled to find steady work, took this job to get by." Trump crossed his arms, his expression unreadable. "So, a man who served his country is standing out here in the cold, guarding doors for people who never risked a damn thing?" Jake said nothing. What could he say? That's just how the world worked. Trump shook his head. "That's the problem. Guys like you should be running things, not standing on the sidelines." Jake wasn't sure if Trump was just making conversation or if he actually meant it. But before he could say anything, Trump glanced at his security detail. "Wait here." He turned and walked inside the building, disappearing into the well-lit halls, leaving Jake in stunned silence. Minutes passed, then an hour. Jake assumed Trump had simply moved on with his night. But then, at 1:15 a.m., something unexpected happened. Trump reappeared. His security detail rushed ahead, but he slowed down when he reached Jake. "All right, listen up," Trump said, his voice low but firm. "I don't believe in wasted potential, and you've got a lot of it. How would you feel about working for me?" Jake frowned. "You mean as a security guard?" Trump smirked. "Number, I have plenty of those. I need someone who knows discipline, leadership, someone who can actually get things done." Jake's pulse quickened. "What kind of job are we talking about?" Trump gave him a knowing look. "You ever think about politics?" Jake actually laughed. "Me? Politics? Why not?" Trump countered. "You know what it means to serve. You understand real sacrifice. Washington is full of people who don't. That's why they screw things up." Jake fell silent. He had spent years feeling like his skills were wasted, like he was just another forgotten soldier. And now, out of nowhere, one of the most powerful men in the country was offering him an opportunity he never even imagined. Trump studied his reaction. "Look, I'm not saying it'll be easy, but if you want a real shot at making a difference, I can open the first door. The rest is on you." Jake swallowed hard. His whole life, he had been waiting for someone to notice him, to give him a real chance. Now that it was happening, could he actually take it? Trump checked his watch. "I'll have my team contact you. Think it over, but don't take too long." And with that, he walked off, leaving Jake standing in the cold, staring after him, heart pounding. This was it. His chance. But was he ready to take it? Jake barely slept that night. His mind raced with possibilities, doubts, and a deep sense of disbelief. Was this real, or was it some elaborate joke? By morning, he half convinced himself that Trump would forget all about their conversation. But at 9 a.m. sharp, his phone rang. "Mr. Carter," a professional-sounding voice came through the line. "This is James Cooper, senior advisor to President Trump. He asked me to set up a meeting with you." Jake's breath caught. This was really happening. Yeah," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Where and when?" "Today, 3 p.m., Trump Tower." Jake exhaled slowly. "I'll be there." After hanging up, he sat in silence. For years, he had been stuck in survival mode, just trying to make ends meet. Now, an opportunity was staring him in the face. But was he ready for it? Jake arrived at Trump Tower at exactly 2:55 p.m. The place was unlike anything he'd ever seen. Marble floors, gold accents, and an atmosphere of power. A well-dressed aide greeted him. "Mr. Carter, this way." He was led to a private office where Trump sat behind a large desk, reviewing documents. He glanced up, gave a nod, and gestured to the chair in front of him. "Glad you came." Jake sat. "Still not sure why I'm here." Trump smirked. "Because you're a guy who gets things done. And I need people like that." He leaned forward. "Washington is a mess. Too many career politicians, not enough real leaders. You serve this country. You know what real responsibility is. That's the kind of person I want to help." Jake frowned. "Help me do what?" Trump folded his hands. "Ever thought about running for office?" Jake let out a short laugh. "I've never even considered it." "Maybe you should," Trump said. "People are sick of fake politicians. They want real Americans in charge. You've got the background, the discipline, and the work ethic. I can give you the platform." Jake's mind was spinning. "You think I could win something like that?" Trump shrugged. "That depends on you. I can open the door, but you have to walk through it." Jake sat back, staring at the man across from him. Just days ago, he had been a security guard standing in the cold. Now he was being offered a shot at something bigger than he had ever imagined. The thought terrified him, but deep down, a part of him wanted this. Trump checked his watch. "You don't have to answer now, but don't take too long." Jake nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. As he left Trump Tower, one thought kept running through his mind. Was he ready to step up? Because if he was, his life was about to change forever. Jake sat in his small apartment, staring at the campaign paperwork spread across his kitchen table. His phone buzzed with messages, some from friends cheering him on, others from skeptics warning him about the brutal world of politics. He knew this wasn't going to be easy. He wasn't a career politician with deep pockets or powerful connections. He was just a hardworking American who had spent his life protecting people, first in the military, then as a security guard. But deep down, he knew one thing for sure. If he didn't take this leap, he'd regret it forever. With a deep breath, Jake picked up the pen and signed the documents. His campaign for Congress was officially on. Jake's announcement sent shockwaves through the political world. A security guard running for office. The media picked up the story, some calling it inspiring, others laughing it off. But something unexpected happened. His campaign video, just a simple, heartfelt message filmed outside his security booth, went viral. "I'm not a politician. I'm a man who's tired of watching hardworking Americans struggle while career politicians play games. I fought for this country once before. Now I'm fighting for you." The response was overwhelming. Donations started pouring in. People from all walks of life reached out, saying they finally saw a candidate who understood their struggles. But not everyone was happy. Jake's sudden rise threatened the establishment. Political insiders dismissed him as inexperienced. Attack ads started appearing, trying to paint him as unqualified. But Jake wasn't about to back down. He looked straight into the camera in his next video. "They say I don't belong in politics. You know what? They're right, because I actually care about the people I serve, and that scares them." The night of his first big rally, Jake stood backstage, listening to the crowd chant his name. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. This moment, this fight, it wasn't just about him. It was about every hard-working American who had been ignored, every veteran who felt forgotten, every small business owner struggling to survive. He stepped onto the stage and the crowd erupted. Holding the microphone tightly, he spoke from the heart. This isn't just my campaign. This is our campaign. This is our fight. And together, we're going to take our country back. The cheers were deafening. Jake had started this journey as a security guard. Now he was a force to be reckoned with. And no matter what challenges lay ahead, one thing was certain: he wasn't stopping now.